The match was over. The crowd was still buzzing. The cameras were still rolling. Alex Eala had just won. She had done what she always does. She fought. She persevered. She emerged victorious. The fans were cheering. The Filipino section was waving their flags. It should have been a moment of pure joy, a moment of celebration, a moment to soak in the adoration of 115 million people. But then something happened, something that the cameras almost missed, something that the commentators did not understand, something that made Alex Eala stop, pause, and then, instead of staying on the court to celebrate, instead of waving to her fans, instead of basking in the glory of another win, she walked off, quickly, quietly, with her head down. The crowd was confused, the commentators were confused, the fans in the stadium looked at each other and asked, what just happened? Why did she leave so fast? Why did she not celebrate? What really happened before Alex Eala left the court? Today on TopSpin, we are going to tell you the full story, the emotional story, the story that the cameras did not capture, the story that explains everything. For more coverage in tennis, subscribe and hit the notification bell. Before we get to what happened before she left the court, we need to talk about the match itself, because the match was not normal. It was not just another win, it was war. Alex Eala had faced an opponent who was determined to break her, not just physically, emotionally. The opponent, a seasoned veteran from Eastern Europe, had done her homework. She knew about the controversy with the Filipino fans. She knew about the security issues. She knew about the pressure Eala was under, and she tried to use it against her. From the very first point, the opponent played aggressively, not just with her shots, with her body language, with her words. She muttered under her breath after every point Eala won. She stared at Eala during changeovers. She pumped her fist excessively after every point she won, even the easy ones. It was gamesmanship, pure and simple. She was trying to get inside Alex's head, trying to make her crack. For 2 sets, Alex held strong. She lost the first set in a tiebreak, 6-7. She was frustrated, but she did not show it. She came back in the second set, winning it 6-4. The match went to a third set. This was where the real battle began. The third set was a marathon. Every game was a fight. Every point was a war. The clock ticked past 2 hours, then 2.5 hours. The crowd was exhausted just from watching, but Alex kept fighting. She saved 3 match points. 3 times she was 1 point away from losing. 3 times she found a way to stay alive. The crowd roared, the Filipino fans wept, and finally, after 2 hours and 53 minutes, Alex Eala won 7-5 in the third set, the longest match of her career. The crowd erupted, but Alex did not. She walked to the net, she shook her opponent's hand, she nodded at the umpire, and then she started walking toward the sideline. Not toward the center of the court where the fans were cheering, toward the tunnel, toward the locker room. The crowd was confused. The announcer called her name for a post-match interview. She did not stop. She kept walking. Her coach ran after her. He put his shoulder on her ear. He said something in her ear. She shook her head. She kept walking. She disappeared into the tunnel. The crowd applauded, but the applause was uncertain. They did not understand. What just happened? Why was she leaving? Why was she not celebrating? What really happened before Alex Eala left the court?
To understand why Alex Eala left the court so quickly, you have to understand what happened in the moments before the match ended. What the cameras did not capture, what the commentators did not see, what only a few people in the stadium witnessed. With 3 games left in the third set, Eala's coach noticed something. She was favoring her left leg, not limping exactly, but wincing. Subtly, almost imperceptibly, he signaled to her. She shook her head. She was fine. She kept playing, but the wincing continued. On the next changeover, Eala sat down in her chair. She looked at her coach. She said one word: ankle. Her coach's face went pale. He called for the trainer. The trainer came. Eala pulled off her shoe. Her ankle was swollen, not dramatically, but noticeably. She had rolled it earlier in the match. She did not know when. She did not know how. Adrenaline had masked the pain, but now, with the match almost over, the adrenaline was fading, and the pain was real. The trainer examined her ankle. He asked if she wanted to stop. Eala looked at the scoreboard. 5-4 in the third set. She was 1 game away from victory. She looked at her coach. She looked at the Filipino section. She shook her head. "I am finishing this," she said. The trainer wrapped her ankle tightly. He gave her a painkiller. She put her shoe back on. She stood up. She walked to the baseline, and she finished the match. She won the final game, but every step was agony. Every movement was a prayer. She did not celebrate the final point because she could not. The pain was too much. The relief was too overwhelming. She just wanted to get off the court. That is what the cameras did not capture: the swollen ankle, the whispered word to her coach, the trainer's concerned face, the painkiller swallowed with a gulp of water, the final steps taken on a leg that was screaming at her to stop. The crowd saw her win. They did not see her suffer. They did not see her sacrifice. They did not see the price she paid for victory. And that is why they were confused when she left. They thought she was being rude, or dramatic, or ungrateful. They did not know that she was barely standing. The tunnel was long. Fluorescent lights, concrete floors, echoes of the crowd still audible from the court. Alex Eala walked slowly. Her coach was beside her. Her physio was on her other side. They did not speak. They did not need to. They knew what was coming. Eala reached the locker room. She sat down on a bench. She took off her shoe. She took off her sock. Her ankle was now visibly swollen, the size of a small apple, purple and red. Her coach winced. Her physio got to work. Ice, compression, elevation, the standard treatment for a sprained ankle. But Eala was not paying attention to the treatment. She was staring at the wall. Her eyes were empty. Her face was pale. She was not crying. Not yet. Then her phone buzzed, a message from her mother. "I am so proud of you, Anak. Rest now. We love you." Eala read the message. She read it again. And then the tears came. Not the quiet tears of someone who is sad, the loud heaving sobs of someone who has been holding everything in for too long. The pressure, the pain, the fear, the exhaustion, it all came out at once. Her coach put his arm around her. Her physio continued working on her ankle. They did not tell her to stop crying. They did not tell her to be strong. They let her cry, because she had earned the right to cry. She cried for 10 minutes. Then she stopped. She wiped her eyes. She blew her nose. She looked at her coach. She said, "How bad is it?" Her coach looked at the physio. The physio looked at her ankle. "We will know more after an MRI, he said, "but you will not be playing tomorrow." Eala nodded. She had expected that. She knew that her tournament was over. The victory she had just fought so hard for would be her last of the Birmingham Open. She would not be able to defend her title. She would not be able to play the semifinals. She would have to withdraw. And that knowledge, that bitter knowledge, was almost harder to bear than the pain. But she did not cry again. She was done crying. She had cried enough. Now it was time to face the world. She stood up. She tested her ankle. It hurt, but she could walk. She would walk. She limped toward the door. Her coach asked, "Where are you going?" She said, "To face the media. They deserve to know." Her coach tried to stop her. "You can do it later. You need to rest." She shook her head. "No, now. They are waiting." And she limped out of the locker room, toward the press conference room, toward the cameras, toward the questions. That is who Alex Eala is, not someone who hides, someone who faces, even when it hurts, especially when it hurts. The press conference room was full. Journalists from the Philippines, the United Kingdom, the United States, Japan, and Spain. Cameras lined the back wall. Reporters sat in rows, notebooks open, phones recording. They had been waiting for 20 minutes. They had heard rumors, an injury, a withdrawal. They were hungry for answers. The door opened. Alex Eala limped in. She was wearing a tracksuit. Her left ankle was wrapped in a compression bandage. She was not wearing a shoe on that foot, just a sock. She sat down at the table. She adjusted the microphone. She looked at the reporters. She did not smile. She did not frown. She just looked tired. Deeply, profoundly tired. She spoke first, before anyone could ask a question. She said, quote, "I know you are all wondering why I left the court so quickly. I want to apologize to the fans. I did not mean to be disrespectful. I was in pain. I rolled my ankle during the match. I did not want to stop because I wanted to win. But after the match, the pain was too much. I needed to get off the court." End quote. There was a collective intake of breath. Reporters looked at each other. Some shook their heads in sympathy. Others typed furiously on their phones. A reporter asked, "How serious is the injury?" Eala looked at her physio, who was standing in the corner of the room. The physio nodded. Eala said, quote, "I will have an MRI tomorrow, but my physio believes it is a moderate sprain. I will not be able to play the semifinals. I am withdrawing from the tournament." End quote. Another collective intake of breath. The tournament that had been renamed after her. The tournament she had fought so hard to defend. Over. Just like that. Another reporter asked, "Are you disappointed?" Eala almost laughed. Almost. She said, quote, "Disappointed does not begin to cover it. I wanted to defend my title. I wanted to play in front of these fans. I wanted to give them something to celebrate. But I cannot. My body will not let me."
And I have learned that sometimes you have to listen to your body, even when your heart is screaming at you to keep going." End quote. Then a Filipino reporter asked the question that everyone was thinking. "What do you want to say to your fans?" Eala paused. She looked down at her wrapped ankle. She looked up at the camera. She said, quote, "To every Filipino who stayed up late to watch me, to every fan who traveled here to support me, to every person who has believed in me, I am sorry. I am sorry I could not give you more. I am sorry I had to leave early. I am sorry that this is how it ended. But I promise you this, I will be back. I will heal. I will train. I will come back stronger. This is not goodbye. This is see you later." End quote. Her voice cracked on the last words. She stopped. She took a breath. She stood up. She limped out of the room. The reporters did not call after her. They just watched. Some of them were crying. The cameras captured it all. And the world watched.
Now you know. Now you know what really happened before Alex Eala left the court. It was not arrogance. It was not disrespect. It was not drama. It was pain. Physical pain. Emotional pain. The pain of a body that had given everything. The pain of a heart that wanted to give more. The pain of knowing that sometimes, no matter how hard you fight, your body decides for you. Alex Eala did not want to leave the court. She wanted to stay. She wanted to wave to her fans. She wanted to soak in their love. She wanted to hold the trophy one more time. But her ankle had other plans. Her body had reached its limit, and she had to listen. Because if she did not listen, if she pushed through, she could have caused permanent damage. She could have ended her season. She could have jeopardized her career. She made the smart choice, the hard choice, the right choice. But it was not the easy choice, and it was not the happy choice. The fans who booed, who were confused, who criticized, they did not know. They could not know. They only saw what the camera showed them, a player walking off the court, a player not celebrating, a player disappearing into the tunnel. They did not see the swollen ankle. They did not see the whispered word to her coach. They did not see the tears in the locker room. They did not see the press conference where she apologized for something that was not her fault. They did not see, but now you have seen. Now you know, and knowing changes everything. What really happened before Alex Eala left the court? She left because she had to. She left because she was hurt. She left because she is human, and being human means having limits, even for champions. Especially for champions, because champions are not superhuman. They are just people who refuse to give up until their bodies refuse to let them continue. Alex Eala did not give up. Her body gave out. There's a difference, and that difference is the truth that the cameras did not capture, the truth that we are telling you today, the truth that will make you see Alex Eala differently, not as a machine that wins matches, as a person who bleeds, who hurts, who cries, who limps, who keeps going anyway. Until she cannot. And then when she cannot, she walks off the court with her head held high because she has nothing to be ashamed of. She gave everything. And sometimes, everything is not enough. But that does not mean it was not worth it. So here is where we leave you. Alex Eala is injured. She is out of the Birmingham Open. She is devastated, but she is not broken. She will heal. She will return. She will fight again. And the next time she walks onto the court, the fans will be there, waiting, cheering, loving her. Not because she wins, because she is worthy of love. Win or lose, healthy or injured, on the court or off. Alex Eala is a champion, and champions do not quit. They just take a break, to heal, to rest, to come back stronger. See you soon, Alex. The Philippines is waiting. For more coverage in tennis, subscribe and hit the notification bell.